Welcome back to another episode of Two Generations, One Mic. And today we have a couple of interesting guests. And since we are talking about relationships, today's episode is called Covidship. For you that you don't know, Covidship is like the relationships that nurtured during COVID.
So we met this couple, very interestingly enough, at a restaurant, and we started talking to them. And you may recognize Morgan here. She is Dr. Morgan, and she is a veterinarian. And her boyfriend here, they both went to Texas A&M. And I recognized the rings right away because I paid for Texas A&M for my daughter.
Lucky Tiffany.
Lucky her with no college debt. So I always recognized those rings. And we were very excited talking to you guys. We thought you have an interesting story, and you met during that time. But so you are a doctor of veterinary medicine,
Yes.
and you have an engineering degree,
Geophysics
degree. So what is that degree called?
So geophysics falls underneath like the science of geology. Geophysics is more, think about geophysics in the way that we use medical imaging to understand what's going on in our bodies in a non-invasive way, which you probably relate to with ultrasounds. But geophysics, you're using physical means to see what's going on underneath the Earth's surface without drilling holes or digging. It's useful primarily in oil and gas, water excavation, minerals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like LiDAR and things like that, like all the kind of like...
Yeah. So LiDAR would still be above the surface. Things like ground penetrating radar or GPR. If you like Ancient Aliens as a show.
Oh, we love that show.
So to find some of those like lost, hidden civilizations, ground penetrating radar, they use geophysicists all the time to find those locations.
Right.
Yeah.
And Graham Hancock is another one of our, we're huge fans of Graham Hancock and watching his stuff. We've seen him on Rogan, and we've seen him, a bunch of things, and he's fascinating. And they keep finding more and more amazing structures down in Latin America that they're finding with that kind of radar. So it's really fascinating.
So that's really fun. I didn't think that was geophysicists.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought they were. Like, I don't know what I thought they were. Just people running radars. I didn't think about, geophysicists.
Yeah, there's a lot of applications to it. It's a cool field of study for sure.
That's cool. So how long you guys been together?
We've been together for 4 years.
Yeah, our anniversary was yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And tell us the story. So you met during...
No, they met before.
Oh, before
Yeah,
COVID.
so we actually have known each other since we were 11. We grew up going to the same schools and things. Swim team together, those sort of things. So we've known each other, been friends for a really long time, and kind of were friends through college and everything. And then kind of lost touch. And then during COVID, I was off of school for vet school. I couldn't do anything that summer. Usually I would be doing a research project or a study abroad or something like that. But with COVID, I couldn't do anything. And so I came back to my parents' house, and he was in town at his parents'. And so we were like, he reached back out and was like, hey, let's go get dinner. And then kind of the rest is history from there. So...
Yeah, we first met up. We went to go get a simple dinner, and I was like, man, it's just gonna be great catching up with her. And then that dinner turned into us going to a wine bar and getting dessert, and then I think we got a cocktail or something. We spent what I thought was gonna be an hour and a half dinner turned into we hung out for 6 hours straight or something.
So,
it was incredible.
Yeah. Did you guys always liked each other, or it was
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'm speaking for myself, absolutely.
I mean, I guess we dated for a little bit in high school, but how much you can count that, I don't know. But yeah, so no, we definitely had liked each other before that, but COVID was really the reason that we actually started dating and going from there.
I mean, because one of the things that I still am fascinated by is you weren't supposed to be in Cyprus during the summer. You're supposed to be in Italy.
I was supposed to be in Italy for spring break, but I wasn't supposed to be in Cyprus because I was supposed to be doing my research stuff, which was in College Station and other places. So yeah, if COVID wouldn't have happened, we may not be together because we, wouldn't have been in the same town. I would have been off doing my other stuff. Who knows who I would have met, going abroad and doing all those sort of things. And so, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But,
It's truly amazing how much on both sides COVID affected the world.
yeah.
And both on the sad side and also on the happy side, and what it caused for the entire world and how things changed. And your story is not unique, apparently.
Yeah. So I have an interesting fact. I love interesting facts. So doing some research, and so all the people that started dating during COVID time, they have broken up this year. And a lot of these people are like, these couples, the men is the one that are being dumped by the women. And I really think, like I always say, relationships are very complicated.
Yeah.
And when we started all this process of confinement and everything, I just think everybody felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I just think that somebody thought maybe like their emotional support person kind of saying.
Right.
But with you guys, I don't see that because you guys knew each other before then.
It was just like COVID was the catalyst for us.
Yes, it was the serendipity that got you guys together and that it was meant to be. I always say, all the things happen for a reason, good or bad. They happen for a reason. And then when you remember them, they're like, oh, thank God. Because I'm pretty sure you were sad that you were not going somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, this is going to affect my career. Like, not getting to do these things that I wanted to do. What am I going to do with my summer? I worked some and those sort of things. But definitely like going into it was definitely a little bit bummed about, all of the negative things that were happening because of the lockdowns and everything. But we had no idea that it was going to kind of like spark the rest of our lives, really. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Like, again, a lot of people got divorced during COVID because they couldn't stand each other.
Yeah.
Other people met some other people, and some people like us, you got AFib. I got some chest problems, but most of them, you guys found each other, and that's really cool. Like, is there something like you guys think, since you guys known each other for a long time, was it easier to get into like a point in your relationship where you like felt more how do you say, like comfortable with each other? Like, you guys, I don't know, when you start dating somebody, like you always have these things. Like me, for example, I didn't let him see me pee for the longest time because I was like, no, like it all took us to go to Spain and don't have a door in the bathroom that I was like, okay, now he has to see me pee. Yeah. And I don't know, for you guys, since you guys
now
met.
I can't stop watching it.
Ew. Gross.
Because we grew up together. So there was always that level of like comfort between us. So I don't know that we really went through like an awkward stage where we've always been comfortable with each other because we grew up, together. So.
I actually totally disagree.
You do?
And not on your end, but I am such a stubborn ass. I would not ask for help with anything.
That's true.
And we had problems where both of us are so type A, where we love doing things, we love helping people, like we like to be involved. I have a tendency to overload my schedule and overcommit to things, and then would fail to be like, hey, like I really need help with something, etc.
That's true.
So I tore my pectoral muscle back in 2022, like was in a sling for 8 weeks, 10 weeks or something. I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't drive myself. So she had to, like, anytime that we wanted to go out on a date or if we like had to take a trip somewhere, she had to be the one to buckle me, drive me. And that really forced me to be like, okay, like I need to ask for help. I have no choice but to be like very humble and honest about like what I'm having a difficult time with. And that's just been able to really blossom and like make our relationship much stronger, where I feel a lot more comfortable just being like, hey, like it's not a big deal for me to ask for help. Like if I'm having a hard time with work or if I need to run something by you, I'm not being a burden. I'm trying to engage with you as my partner to be like, I need help here.
That's true.
That is that is interesting, and that could be like daunting, right? Like,
Oh, totally.
especially when you're dating with someone, right? Like, I mean, at this point in our relationship, me and Mark, like, I know if he breaks something, I'm gonna have to like be there. I have to be
Right.
there, right? Like, I don't
Right.
have a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wouldn't
Yeah.
like just let him be there like by himself.
Right.
But when you're dating, like, it wasn't your responsibility. Like, you didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's when you see somebody like.
That's when you see someone's true character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the good times and also in the bad times.
Right.
Because in life, I mean, amazing if all the life is good, but you usually have bad moments too.
Right.
And that she was there, that's
Yeah.
a good thing. Would you be there for me, Pepe?
Yeah, of course.
You
He
better.
doesn't have a choice either.
He doesn't have a choice. He knows that.
No, I have to be there.
It never really felt like a choice for me. It's just,
Yeah.
like he's my partner, and of course I want to like help him through those things. But it was hard. Like at first he, because he moved back in with his parents actually when it first happened, and he didn't want me to come over and help, and he didn't want me to see him like that.
It was embarrassing. Yeah.
And so
It was
that
just-
was like a hurdle. Yeah,
It's
I
just,
know.
it's fine. It's
I
not like you were
know.
covered from head to toe.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it was just like a mental thing for him. He had to
Totally.
like get over as
Totally.
far as like, thinking that I like will see him differently if he's like not in this like vulnerable
Like a
state.
weak.
Yeah.
Well,
guy.
so I tore the muscle completely off the tendon. Like I couldn't use my left arm at all.
Yeah.
And so for me, like my dad had to bathe me. I couldn't dress myself. Like it was so humiliating. I thought to be like, she's gonna see me as weak. Like I'm not gonna appear strong to her ever again. Like, oh my gosh. And really, like it took us kind of working together and her being very direct, like, hey, like I'm here to help.
That's such a man thing.
Totally.
Well,
Well,
absolutely.
not you.
Totally.
You really like let me do a lot of the man work at home, but
Well, when it comes to fixing stuff, I can't fix anything.
yeah, he's always like, call the Mexican. Oh wait, you are the Mexican.
Oh my god.
So yeah, no, I like to do stuff at home, and I'm like, okay, move, because he will take forever to fix something,
Right.
or he wouldn't do it right.
Right.
Again, he will call somebody, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay.
I wouldn't do it right, or perhaps I'm not doing it right on purpose.
Yeah. It's like maybe you didn't learn how to do it on purpose.
Yeah, I know that's what he is, but he's always like, just. I mean, I'm like the man of the house, right? Like he's always saying, like, "Oh, thank God we have a man in the house." But
Yeah, I'm not kidding. She fixes everything from electrical to plumbing. She puts in
gosh.
sinks. She'll put in a new. She's put in new
Dishwasher.
stoves and microwaves and
dishwasher.
dishwashers, and she can do any of that
I'm
stuff.
handy
She lo-
Andy.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like men, and we actually had an episode about talking about this, like why women prefer bad boys, and not per se bad boys, but just knowing that that guy is stronger, or like because as a evolutionary thing, we as
Right.
women search and seek for the stronger male, right? And that happens in nature, like you
Yeah.
see it with the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we think that if somebody is nice or, like you say, weak, we're going to be like, in our subconscious, we don't think that person can protect us,
Right.
which is not really the case, because it was just temporary.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's looking at you like saying, oh, no, this guy can't move his arm now.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
relationship
Next.
done.
Yeah.
Like, he's weak.
He won't be able to hold the club if the village gets
Yes,
attacked.
exactly. He's gonna
Subconsciously.
hold the pitchfork. It's
I
not
know.
gonna be me.
So
Right.
yeah, but I mean, I think you grow and you'll find out that more and more things will happen, and you may get to return the favor someday. You know.
I
No,
think
now
that-
you have to return the favor.
Yeah. Well, I think that one thing that we have always done a really good job of, like even as friends, so like we're both the oldest child, and when shit hits the fan, when something happens, like I think we really do a good job of like locking in and being like, this is what needs to get done. You go here, I'll go here, ready, break.
Yeah.
So then for me to be like, I feel very broken right now, like I need help with something. I wasn't sure how to direct that. But now that, we've like learned through that together, I think that, really it's made our relationship a lot stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
And she doesn't get as irritated because I'm like, I need help. And she's like, thank you for asking.
That's
Yeah.
that's me. I never ask for help. Like, I'm like, I can do it. And
How do you-
usually if I ask for help, this guy, I was like, he takes forever to help me. Like, I'm like, babe, Help me with this. Never mind, I'll do it myself. He's like, I was coming. I was like, what did you do in the process? He went to the bathroom, started shaving. I don't know. Like,
I had to shave my arm.
he had to shave his arms before.
Which is apparently a topic that keeps coming up on these episodes.
No.
If you guys haven't seen that, I swear, like this guy always, we have to leave the house. We have to do something. Hold on, I'm going to shave my arms. Apparently, it's very important. But if I need help immediately, I just learn not to ask for help because with my ADD, like
you just want it done like now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Like now. Or I'll move into something else.
Yeah.
So this is a moment where I need this project to finish. And if I am determined to finish that, I want to do it right now. So if he, like, we got this mattress delivered to our home because we bought a new mattress and Amazon was running this special and it came shrink wrapped and like a vacuum sealed. In my head, I thought, I can bring this upstairs myself.
Not a
That's
chance.
what I
Up
thought.
3 floors. We have a 3-story townhome. Like, she's going to drag this up 3 stories because our bedroom's at the top floor.
He comes down and I'm sweating. I'm like, he's like, need help? I was like,
Yeah.
I do actually.
I do need help. But it's hard. I understand your point of view. It's hard to ask for help when you're like a very independent, self-sufficient person.
Absolutely. Yeah. It had nothing to do with me not trusting her. It was very much like like I can do it. I can take it on all on myself, which like therein kind of lies the problem because that leads to breakdown in communication. And, she assumes like, well, like, why doesn't he want my help? Like, I'm here to help.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having to ask for help at all. And so in your relationships, how do you, what's your schedule? Are you work at a different place? You're at home. What do you work out of? How often are you together during a day or?
Yeah, so I'm an emergency vet. So I work 3 to 4 days a week, and I oftentimes work like weekend days. So a lot
long
of times,
shifts, though,
yeah,
right?
like long shifts, like 12, 13. Sometimes it turns into 16-hour shifts. And so oftentimes we will only see each other for like an hour or so, like if I, come home super late or something like that. And then, he works a normal kind of like 9 to 5 job, but has work from home like 3 days a week. So there's some weekdays that like I have off, like let's say Monday. So we do get to like spend some time like it's nice that he does. I guess that was another benefit of COVID is that now his work has turned into a hybrid schedule where he only has to go into the office so often, so we can spend some time at home like when I'm off during the week. Right. He's really good at being like, okay, I have a meeting at this time, and this time, like let's go like run and get lunch or do something so that we can spend some time together. Even on those weeks where we have like opposite days off.
And you guys, how long have you lived together?
So she lives with her parents.
It technically don't live together.
But I live with a roommate in like the northern parts of the Heights. So she'll come over 3 or 4 times a week or so.
Yeah, I'm usually
almost live together.
Yeah, I usually am over at his place like on my days off. But it's a closer commute for me to work from my parents' house too. So usually, a lot of times when I work, like I will stay at my parents' house.
I mean, it's like a third of the time. It takes you a while to go from my place to the clinic.
Sacrifices we make.
Yeah,
right?
but I would say that remote work, kind of like going back to us, like first beginning our relationship, like I was able to work remotely in College Station. So I was able to stay with you a couple days a week and just like hang out, like whenever, like if my day wrapped up at like right at 5 o'clock, you'd be able to like go to the pool, hang out. And so while like the world around us seemed to be like completely crumbling, so many questions, so much concern, like we were able to have like a really amazing time together.
It was such a like polar opposite time because like my mom's a nurse, so she was seeing things firsthand at her hospital and things, and obviously like it was a really scary time, but then kind of in this little bubble that we created, we made some of the best friendships we've ever had, like created really good community, like a really good basis for our relationship. So, it's definitely, I'm sure, most people can relate to that kind of disparity of feelings, you know, towards that time in history that's like pretty unique. Like I'm hoping we never go through something like that to that level again. But so it was definitely like an interesting time, and we're still like feeling those effects with like his working from home and those sort of things. Like it's definitely something that I think will stick with like all of us for a really long time.
Yeah.
You like working at home?
I do. I like the flexibility that it provides, where instead of taking an hour for lunch, I can fold clothes, I can do various things. But that in-person aspect of it, I think it's really important for like building trust with your coworkers. And I think that was something that's really been eroded with remote work is, well, you know, you have people that have like automated mouse shakers, or like, okay, like you're getting your work done, but are you really working a 40-hour work week? I think being in office, it's true. It's a huge thing.
What is it?
An automated mouse shaker, where like you're shaking your mouse, so they think you're like on there, like working.
Yeah. So people will buy machines to put their mouse on top of.
So it'll like move.
It'll move their mouse, like it'll move their cursor. So like their Teams notifications or like on Outlook, they're online, but they're not doing anything. So actually a couple high-end tech companies have actually started tracking mouse cursors to see when the mouse stops, or like to pick up like patterns of the mouse moving. And then they're firing those people on assumption that they are using one of these like mouse movers. It's but again, like trust totally being removed. And are these people actually working? If they're using a mouse shaker and if they're not working, like then that warrants a conversation of like, okay, like are you really working your job or not?
But if you get the results done.
We're more, in our company, we're more results oriented than we are like, what are you doing every moment of the day? Because I don't own you. You just work for us. And so
I'm like having you to do a job. So.
Right. Yeah. We want to know that you're doing a job, you know, like, and again, I'm a big proponent of that. And I think this showed us that I always say that old model, and I grew up having to do that, and I hate that, and I will never, ever have an office where I have to go sit in it again because I just don't want to do that. And so, again, I always prefer that. It's not the 1960s, and we don't work in a bank or an insurance company or put me, for God's sake, in a cubicle. Might as well just put me in prison. I'm not ever doing that again. So, you know, that to me is just miserable life. I think there's more to life, and I think a lot of this comes from the fact that we live in Europe half the year because Europeans don't work like that. They live life. It's not all about work. They enjoy life, and work pays the bills. Here we pretend Americans tend to think that work is the number one thing we do, and also we'll let you slide in a little bit if you ask us on paper and ask us for permission. You could have this much time for your family, but not more than that. And so I don't like that. I think the COVID thing showed us that it's a new world, and the new generations understand that, and there's so much more to life than just constantly working. So to me, I'm like, okay, did this get done? Did that get done? Where are we at with that? I know the tasks. Is it done? Okay, we're good, and then we move on. And next thing, enjoy your thing. My daughter, who worked because we paid for her college, she works for me. That's her payback. And she loves it. She works out of her house. She does her own thing. She knows what she has to do. She gets it done. In the middle of the day yesterday, she texted me, "Hey, I'm going to get my eyebrows done." All right, knock yourself out. It wasn't like, okay, when I have my lunch break, I'm going to go take my lunch hour for my 45 minutes and I'll do this. That's nonsense. Again, it's not the 1960s. Forget that bullshit. And Tiffany's like, "Hey, I get this." She literally said in the text, "This is done, this is done, this done. I emailed this, you're waiting on this, waiting to hear back from this. I'm going to get my eyebrows done. I'll talk to you in an hour." Okay, cool. There's an emergency, I'll hit you up. Otherwise, enjoy your life.
Right.
You know, it's that's fine.
That's the way it should be. So you enjoy that? You like working remotely? And
I
also
like working as a whole. I would say that whenever I go into the office, I like to make a point to have in-person meetings. And I think that that's something that a lot of companies are missing the opportunity on, is if you're in person, make that time valuable. Don't just go into the office just to sit down there and then
do what you could do at home.
Right. And have like virtual meetings when someone's like sitting across the room from you. Like that doesn't make sense. And there's a like in like all industries right now where people do have a hybrid work schedule, there's a lot of vocal pushback about like, how can we make this more personable? Being able to work remotely has also led me to kind of pursue my own hobbies and my own interests, which has been helpful. And I also
Just commute time.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of driving for 2 extra hours a day, like he can use that time,
Exactly right. And I get every other Friday off because I work 980s. So if she's working, then I'll go bring you lunch or go stop by and say hi.
Yeah.
If she's
He's
off,
really good about that. He does
then-
bring me lunch and just like stops by the hospital, which
Yeah.
is like a drive for, I mean, the hospital I work at is like 30 minutes, at least 30 to 40 minutes, like from his house. So like he'll, take time to go.
Well, what people don't realize, like in Texas, everything is so far away that it's just between the traffic and everything is so far away because the
Texas
land is so big.
It's a very big state. So I always say this. People ask me, how big is Houston? They have no idea. But I think it's either Houston or LA is the biggest geographical city in America. That I know that you could literally start on one side of the city, get on the freeway at normal freeway speeds, 55, 60 miles an hour. You can drive an hour and you're still in the city.
Oh, yeah.
It's just crazy how big the city is. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And more people are actually moving here from California, everywhere else, because Texas has no state taxes.
People we're gonna don't tell them. People are gonna want to move here.
They're already coming. Believe me. They're Texas, California, New York. They're coming, bringing their money with them, and they're coming. But speaking of, so you said you have time to do your side. This is great. So one of the things we started talking in our conversation was this is one of the things because he knew that we were in the we started talking
Beauty
about
business.
us being in the beauty business, and this is one of his things he developed. And this generation, I love it because everybody's got a side hustle. Like they're always doing stuff. And this is pretty cool. It's very ingenious. This is skincare basically for it's unisex, right? You can use it for both, but it's clean. It's organic, clean.
All natural ingredients.
Yeah. Look at all
And
these pretty things.
what
These are
got
amazing.
me
I like the
is-
packaging too.
Thank you.
It's very
Since what got me is that you've put a lot of research into this.
I have. Yeah.
And the fact that is, tell us a little bit what it's about with mushrooms or something.
So it started with my sister having eczema. She had terrible experience with eczema, and like she would like hide her hands because she had eczema on her hands. And I'm like, what can I do to fix this? With my geophysics background, I did research in undergrad. That made me very comfortable with learning things that I had no background knowledge on.
Or like, comfortable reading research papers and, obviously like I do as well. And so
I'm able to bounce stuff off of her.
So he just started doing a bunch of research, like how can I help my sister? And then, how can I have cleaner like skincare? And that's kind of how this whole thing blossomed.
So the product in your hand marked in the black jar. So that's our face balm. That was our first product that really, so I gave it to my sister, right? And her eczema cleared up in 3 days
That's
after
amazing.
she started using it. So
Like all we do that. Like I do the same thing. I create something. I would like try it in the family just in case something goes south.
that's where we started.
Like
That's where we started.
Yeah, that's where product development starts. Friends and family.
Friends and family. If something goes south, they're not gonna sue you, or at least you hope.
Yeah.
Well, and my sister has high standards of stuff too. So if she didn't like it, it's dead in the water.
Right.
But so I started with that, and she was like, "This is great," and I thought, well, like people struggle with eczema. Let's see. So we have a morning serum and an evening serum, and the blends of mushrooms and herbs are perfectly formulated for your skin's need. Morning serum, it has vitamin C, cordyceps, tremella mushroom, which is a natural source of hyaluronic acid. It firms, it brightens. We also have a unique formulation in there where it acts as a UVB protectant. Love our morning serum. Radiance is a super lightweight moisturizer for people that have clogged pores. Evening serum helps to reduce your sebum secretion, so your skin's natural oil, and evens out your skin tone. A lot of people, especially in this digital age, like we talk a lot about skin tone and how we can look better on camera. So a lot of people like
Well,
that
that's why
evening
the
serum.
filters, right? Like you can never. I swear to God, some people with the filters, some people you just can't recognize them in
Right.
person. Like, who is this person?
Right.
And then you just realize you
Yeah,
have a friend, right? Like some people on his Facebook that he's always showing it to me. And when I meet them in person, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's not the same person.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you know her from Facebook, or you know him from Facebook. You're like,
Right.
Totally different.
But yeah.
So for me, it's so important to be able to have skincare that's clean. We all seem to be a lot more aware of what we're ingesting, what we're putting on our face. So we're using natural herbs and mushrooms to be able to deliver exceptional skincare for all skin types.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So that's kind of his goal, is to like simplify, the process for people that are like, I can't do skincare. It's like too complicated. So that's kind of part of the goal, as well as just having an option for people that like want to focus on like clean skincare and just start somewhere.
Which is a big priority right now.
Yeah.
Clean stuff. So that's great. So you have a website, obviously, Sevo. Sevo's the name of the actual company, right? It's SEVO.
SEVO.
And SevoSkincare.com.
Sevoskin.care is the website.
Sevoskin.care.
Sevoskin.care, and you can check out all these things, and you deliver them in these pretty
Well,
boxes.
we're probably going to have you back, and you and I are going to do a whole episode about skincare and
you guys can have a
ingredients.
skincare showdown.
That's
We can do like a
He'll geek out over that.
We'll do that. We'll
That's
do that.
great. Well, I think what you're doing on the side hustle is fantastic. Again, your generation, which I'm older than that. That's what
Yes.
the whole show is about. We never had all the side hustles that you guys did.
No,
but
you guys just had a paycheck and
Yeah,
were
that's
able
right.
to afford a house
yeah,
that we
had a different
can't
thing.
anymore.
But you guys are doing some incredibly adventurous and fantastic things that are just different, and you're not afraid to just be stuck in a box of what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. So, yeah, we'll continue to grow. I'm so glad we met and got to meet, because we have so many fascinating things, and see what other couples are doing, and that's what the show is supposed to be about, is couples and relationships and how your career, what you're doing, and this is great. So Nick and
Morgan.
Dr.
Morgan.
Thank you. She worked hard for that.
I know, Dr. Morgan.
They like to be called doctor. But congratulations on everything. We'll stay in touch. We'll keep going on, and we'll keep updated what's happening here. And
And
thanks
we'll
so
have
much
you
for being on
back
the show.
for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Can't
it.
wait.
Thank you so much, everybody. So like, subscribe, and share. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or comments, don't hate, because I'll come after you. But if you have any topics you guys want to hear about, just let us know.